that I think is very interesting. I'm sure listeners will. You're an animal activist. You're very big on ethics.
Mm-hmm.
And my question for you around these restaurants is, do you only go and eat at vegan restaurants, or would you also go and eat at a restaurant that is serving meat but has vegan options? Where do you sit with that one?
So personally, I try to only go to fully vegan restaurants when I have the option and I can afford it. I come from the perspective of, if you have the chance to support a fully vegan ethical business, why would you not? And I'm completely aware that in some places people don't have the option. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about those who have the availability and can afford going to a vegan restaurant. If it's not overpriced or something, why not? It's amazing. Like, these are restaurants that for us show how the future is going to be. Why would you not want to put a higher demand for those places? The way I see it with other restaurants, whether it's like with meat or chicken or whatever, or vegetarian even, I would only go there if I don't have the option to go to a vegan restaurant. Because for me, if they're serving cow meat, let's say, it's the same as them serving dog meat. And if I'm not going to feel comfortable sitting down in a restaurant that serves dog meat, why would I sit in a restaurant that serves cow meat? Now, not only do I think it's really great to support these businesses, it's also when you have friends, even if they're not vegan, it's great to bring them to a vegan restaurant, just because it normalizes veganism so much more. And plus, that meal they're going to have with you, they're not going to be eating animals, because they're not in another restaurant, they're at a vegan restaurant. And they're also going to see the amount of people in the vegan restaurant, the differences, it kind of like breaks the stereotype they might have about veganism in their head, and you're bringing them into a surrounding that is fully vegan. So I think, like, in my personal opinion, we should always support fully ethical vegan businesses rather vegan options in a non-ethical business.
I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying, and actually opened a vegan restaurant in Bondi probably 4 or 5 months ago. And the great thing is 90% of people coming in are not vegan.
Yeah.
And they're having the best time.
Yeah.
And they come in and they might be slightly skeptical. And by the time they've left, they're thinking about when they're going to come back.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there is a sort of counter argument to what you're saying. And certainly I'm thinking that people may be thinking, if you support the vegan options on a non-vegan restaurant, that may then give the restaurant owner more reason to add more vegan food onto the menu. What do you think about that?
So I actually used to come from that point of view. I actually believed in that and talked about that as well, until I realized there has been studies done, and it turns out that the vegan population is so small, less than 3 or 2% of the population, that no restaurant or no business would make a product for us. It just, like, no one would do that. That's like the worst business decision you would ever make, making a product for less than 2% of the population. That's not going to work. The main clients of vegan options, are the flexitarians, are the vegetarians, are the vegan interested, are the health interested people. So a restaurant would never be really affected by vegans not going there, because we're not like 50% of the population. Our numbers are not that big to actually have an impact. And when I realized that, and I saw like the studies that were made and the amount of restaurants they ask, and in even fully vegan restaurants were like, no, the majority of our customers are not vegan, just because there's not that many vegans in the world,
That's what I just said, right?
Yeah, exactly. So ethically speaking, I feel much more comfortable going to a vegan restaurant. I also feel the emotional support that you bring to a vegan business is much more important than what you're going to bring to a non-vegan place that literally doesn't rely on you. If tomorrow all non-vegans woke up and said, we're not going to buy vegan-only options anymore, that's when they will remove these items off the menu. Not when the vegans don't do that, And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this has to be done by literally everyone. Like, if you go vegan tomorrow, you're not allowed to go to a non-vegan restaurant. That's not what I'm saying. Take your time. Sometimes you might be in situations where you don't have another option. That's completely fine, Like, you're not going to be perfect. No one is perfect. So if you feel comfortable, try to do your best to support vegan restaurants, support vegan businesses. And if you don't have the option, or that day it's not going to work out, that's completely fine.